observation about my genogram is that my family is very large, and if we continued on with the next generation, it'd be much larger, since my mom has 15 grandchildren and 2 more on the way. Another interesting observation is the multiple sets of twins that is in my family. I will point out the relationships here on the closeness of my family. We'll start with my grandfather on my mom's side, Paul Heathfield, and next is my grandma, Gladys Jeanette. She went by Jeannie. They had 4 daughters, Linda being the oldest, she's my mom, then Paula, and then they had a set of twins, Deborah and Pam. Paula had 3 children. My Aunt Debbie had 2, and Pam had 2. My mom had 8 children, 3 different marriages. The first one, 3 daughters, Kelly, Michelle, and Kim. The next one, 3 daughters again, Danielle, Shannon, and Aaron. Shannon and Aaron being a set of twins. And then her 3rd marriage to Christopher, my father, and then there's me and my brother Matt. On my dad's side, there is Don, my grandpa, and my grandma Dorothy. They had 5 sons, John being the oldest, my father Christopher being the 2nd, Mark being the 3rd, Ronnie, and then Thomas. On my dad's side of the family, we're not very close. Finding information was very difficult, but I did find out that my Uncle John was never married. My Uncle Mark is married and has 3 kids. My Uncle Ronnie, there's not a lot of information on him. And then my Uncle Tom, being the youngest, he had 2 kids but never married. Then my father was also married before my mother, and they had 1 son, Damien. My observations that I made were heart disease being the first one. My grandpa on my mom's side had heart disease. My grandma, she had lung disease, and I can't remember exactly, but she had some sort of heart issues. Not heart disease, but heart issues. My mom has heart disease, and then my Aunt Deborah has heart disease. She had a heart attack. On my dad's side, my grandfather had heart disease. His oldest son, John, also has heart disease, and my father has heart disease. As for the children in the family, as of right now, no one has been found to have any sort of heart conditions. The next set are twins. This pattern is mainly on my mom's side. I didn't find any information on my father's side about twins. My grandfather, Paul, was a twin. He had a set of twins. I also found out that my Aunt Paula has two of her children each had a set of twins. And my mother and her husband, David, had a set of twins. And then, as of right now, there are no twins on my mom's side on her children, but there are many more to come, so we'll see. My next observation and pattern in the family was divorce. Divorce seemed to be very common across the board. On my dad's side, my grandpa, my dad's father, was divorced a couple times. And my father was also divorced once, still married to my mother. And then his brother, Ronnie, was also divorced. On my mom's side, my mom was divorced twice. Then my Aunt Debbie and my Aunt Pam were also divorced. As far as my sisters go, there was a divorce, Kelly, she was recently divorced. My sister Danielle, and my sister Kim. In conclusion, I learned that my family has multiple sets of twins dating back to before my grandfather and still continuing today. I also learned our family comes from a large line of health issues, including heart disease being the most common. I'd like you guys to remember that coming from a large family has its ups and downs. Not always are the relationships as close as they are with smaller families. Although my family is pretty large, I would like to point out that I still have many strong bonds, and most are closer than many strong bonds and are closer than most larger families. Does anybody have any questions?